Hello, I'm Ben Shatliff. This is Ben Shatliff on Sunday, and it's Sunday, December 5th, 2021. On this week's programme, we'll be looking at the main news stories of the day. We'll also share a reflection, as of course it is Advent, and I'll be giving you my take on some of the big stories of the week, including some of the failings, and I'm going to be very frank and abrupt in one specific scenario. And of course, we mustn't forget the victims of Pearl Harbor 80 years ago. It was Sunday, December 7th, 1941. In 2 days, we remember the day of infamy. Before that, let's start with some reflection by looking at today's Walk With Me brochure, which can be picked up in most Catholic churches around the United Kingdom. Today, as it is the second Sunday of Advent, those who are sown in tears will sing when they weep. The goal of our pilgrimage is to return to the Father's house. God is a perfect communion of love, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Through faith, we enter this great mystery. We tend to think that we are searching for God, but God is actually searching for us. Think about that one. In the parable of the prodigal son, we learn that while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion, and ran and embraced him and kissed him. That's Luke 15:20. We can be tempted sometimes to think that the Father is remote and distant, far removed from our daily lives. The Scriptures reveal the very opposite. I have loved you with an everlasting love. And as one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you. Isaiah 16:13. The prayer thought for the day there. Father, grant me the grace to count my joys and blessings, and to put a new song of joy in my heart and gladness on my lips. Let's just think about that for a moment. As I live each day, may I do my part to make one difference, to touch one heart. And through each day, may it be my goal to encourage one mind and inspire one soul. Now, I want you to just have a little bit of reflection there before we then go on to looking at the news stories which are affecting us this Sunday. There is going to be a national investigation which is going to be launched over the murder of Arthur Landington Hughes, a boy who was brutally tortured and murdered. I'm going to speak more about that in a few moments' time. It's also saying as well about in Ethiopia, the civil war, about lots of people are dying, 4 young sisters among those caught up in this horrible civil war. The NHS are planning to roll out a game-changing coronavirus pill, and it could happen before Christmas. And Dominic Raab is saying that we can enjoy Christmas this year as he defends the government's latest travel changes. Okay, I've already hinted at something that has deeply appalled me, which has been on the news this week, and that is, of course, the murder of the young boy, Arthur Landington Hughes. Arthur. Social services failed yet again, and it was also mentioned during lockdown, people couldn't track what was going on. In my own personal view, there are too many excuses where the term lockdown is used, and when a young boy dies as a result of torture by 2 evil people, I'm sorry, but there's no excuse whatsoever. Social services have failed on many occasions over the years, and I know they've also done a lot of good to people. My own personal opinion on this is that social services should be scrapped, rethought right from the very beginning, replanned, so that nobody escapes any of these radars and everything else, so that everybody, whatever age you are, is protected. A poor boy there should be preparing to celebrate Christmas and not be an angel in heaven as he currently is. I'm not going to say any more, but you've got an idea on my thoughts. May he rest in eternal heavenly peace, and those people who are convicted of the torture and the murder, I hope you get what you deserve in prison. Also this week on the news, of course, it has been revealed about the Downing Street party which took place. Two of them, in fact. One while we were all in lockdown, another during December of 2020. I won't let this particularly drop when I, like many other people, would have liked to have been doing some different things in the run-up to Christmas last year and wasn't able to due to the fact we could only do very little. If it's a rule that is affecting everybody, it is for everybody, not just for everybody else, and the certain few don't get it. I have been rather supportive of Boris Johnson and the government over the COVID-19 situation, because I would think, well, would anybody else know what to do during a situation? And when you looked at the original opposition with Jeremy Corbyn, well, I don't need to say any more there. However, I do feel there is a good opposition leader with Sir Keir Starmer. It's just what he decides to do, or what somebody else around him decide to do, that can make that specific difference. I was noted on BBC Radio Manchester a couple of years ago when I was asked the question, who would I prefer to be the leader of the Conservative Party, then Prime Minister, either Boris Johnson or Jeremy Hunt. I described Boris as a buffoon, and then I actually said, well, actually, I said he's a complete buffoon. The fact is that when decisions are made which are affecting everybody, sometimes decisions can be made where they can be wrong decisions and then later come back to haunt you with various different things. Plus, of course, we're going through something which has not been known for the best part of 100 years. But bearing in mind, we're now almost 2 years on, so therefore things have to be as they should be. And therefore, a rule is a rule for everybody. So I think Boris, the term complete buffoon, definitely fits you on this scenario. You've got a majority of around 79/80. Managed to hold on to the by-election after the sad passing of James Brokenshire. The fact is, you may have a majority. When people are in power, they can make some very risque decisions which can affect people, but not risque decisions that are either breaking rules or breaking the law, or even doing things which are considerably bonkers, as has been going on over recent months with lobbying and all kinds of different stuff. So you've got a big majority. If you want to keep hold of the big majority, you need to think about all the people around the country who decided, as you say, to lend their vote to you, or even decided that the alternative was definitely something they didn't want, and they maybe voted in different ways, but still kind of were happy with the outcome. I didn't vote for you, because I voted for my good friend Ivan Lewis, who is standing as an independent. So I'm not, in one sense, I'm kind of not responsible for voting for either the main party or the opposition party. I know who I would be happy to have won, and I'm not going to say any more for now, you probably would have gathered that anyway. But the fact is that trying to be neutral and apolitical, but you can also give an opinion as well at the same time. So my advice to you, Boris, if you want to hold on to those majorities and get bigger majorities or whatever, you need to remember all the things you said which led you to those steps at Downing Street in July 2019 and then in December 2019. Otherwise, it's already starting to go wrong for you, and the opposition are now wiser because they have somebody who is credible to be Prime Minister of this country. A good, decent, genuine person as well. that can make a difference to people. So let's see what happens there. I'm not lobbying or anything like that. It's just my own free speech, giving opinions. Right, okay, so there are two issues which, to me, this week were very, very strong indeed. One other thing I do want to say as well, as I did when I did a special broadcast earlier in the week when I went live on social media, as it stands at the moment, all we need to do is to wear the face coverings, and I know that wearing a face covering is not always a very pleasant thing to do, but if that's all we need to do and keep a distance from some people, not everybody, but from some people, and it stops us from having to do any lockdowns or anything more stringent, and we can still be with our loved ones, our families, our friends, and everything else, still go out enjoying ourselves, still have a nice kiss under the mistletoe, if any of that was possible, then still do it. Enjoy yourself, but just stick to the face coverings. That's all we need to do. It's been so cold this week that wearing a face covering has also helped to keep warm as well. But just remember, you're not doing it for yourself. Okay, you think it might help yourself. You're doing it to protect everybody else. So just think of somebody else that you might see on their own that is worried and trembling or something like that. Wearing that face covering can get them back together with everybody else. Have a very, very good week, everybody. Just one final thing to mention. I did mention earlier on, and that is, of course, it's 80 years on Tuesday since the surprise attack by the Japanese on Pearl Harbor, the naval base in Hawaii, which officially brought America into the Second World War. America's intervention in the Second World War certainly helped the rest of the Allies to then eventually bring down the Nazis and then, of course, eventually bring down the Japanese regime, both in 1945 respectively. And we always said that once that war was over, we would hope that we would never, ever get any wars again. As different people have said, nobody likes a war, but only sometimes that can be the only answer to sort out certain people, certain regimes. Let's just think about all those people who were killed at Pearl Harbor and the ones that would go in the days, weeks and months to follow. But also let's be thankful as well to those Americans that joined us and helped to bring down an end to Nazi tyranny and also to what the Japanese were doing in those places in the Far East. On this Sunday, December 5th, 2021, let's bring hope, peace and goodwill to all and have a very good day. Goodbye.